Hey everyone, Tim Schofield here from CubicKing77.com doing a full review of the Samsung Galaxy Note 3. I have spent a lot of time with this device, so there is a lot to be said. I will be doing, as usual, a table of contents in the description if you wanted to check it out, so you can skip to various sections of the video depending on what you want to see covered. But anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the review. So before we take a very close look at the device, I want to go ahead and show you guys what it looks like when someone is on the phone using their Note 3. So this is what it looks like when it is up to my face, covering it with my hand as well. To give you an idea, I am about 6'2", and I weigh about 180, so if that gives you any idea of what it's going to look like when you hold it up to your face. Just kind of keep that in mind. Alright, so here is a much closer look at the Galaxy Note 3. As you can see, it has a massive screen, a 5.7-inch display, which is shown right away. Everybody notices it, of course. Go ahead and flip over the device. On the back, you will notice it does have a leather-like feel to it, which is what Samsung has done to try and make it feel like a more premium device. That being said, it is essentially a plastic that's made to feel like leather. Definitely does feel better than the plastic that they usually use on the S4 and the Note 2. So I do like it. It adds to the grip. I know some people don't, but I personally do like it. Anyways, also on the back you'll notice a 13 megapixel camera, which I will get into detail in just a bit. You got an LED flash as well. Down at the bottom of the device you'll notice there is a microphone over here. There is a micro USB 3.0 slot, which is brand new. It's the first Android device to be shipped with one. For those of you that were wondering, USB 2.0, micro USB 2.0 still fits. You just push it in on the right side. You'll notice there's still a little gap on the left side, but it works just fine to charge and transfer files using your old cables as well. Although the one that comes with it, you're going to get faster USB charging along with faster data transfer speeds in your computer if you're using the cable that came with your Note 3. Also on the bottom you'll notice there is a speaker. I am very upset with this speaker, to be completely honest. It is down at the bottom, which is better placement than the back, considering you usually hold, if you're watching a video, etc., you hold the screen like this. And the sound will come out the right side then, since it's down at the bottom, as opposed to being on the back going away from you. However, the quality is not very good. Samsung has definitely lacked in speaker quality, and they have continued to do so. HTC has stepped it up in that category, so I just want to make a note that the speaker is very subpar. So if you use your phone to listen to a lot of music out of the speaker, don't expect a lot out of the Note 3. Down at the bottom you also notice a brand new S Pen. I wouldn't say brand new, I would say a brand new design to the S Pen, so get a closer look at it here. It does have a more square feel to it. With the more square feel, you can actually put it into the Note 3 either way. So you can flip it over and put it in either way. Now continuing on the right side you just have one power button. You'll notice it has more metallic sides. They do have very small ridges to them. You can barely feel them, but they are there. On the left side you do have volume up and down, so that's it for buttons on the sides. Up at the top you do have a 3.5mm headphone jack. You also have another microphone along with an IR blaster, so you can control your TV, which is a great feature that Samsung includes in their devices. Now flipping it over to the front of the device, taking a look at it, you'll notice there is a home button, of course, which I will talk about in just a second, and the standard menu and back button. So the pretty much standard design for Samsung devices recently. They've been sticking with it. They haven't been changing much to their design. When it comes to the home button, it is not very well made. I'm going to try and get this on camera. Alright, so a very close look at the home button. It's not a big deal, but it does move up and down. You will notice that it is moving up and down. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. I can notice it, but just a little thing. So, I mean, it's a little upsetting that Samsung didn't do any quality control on the home button. It does feel a little loose when you press on it. Not a big deal, but that is a little issue with the device. So to give you another feel for the size, this is what the Note 3 looks like in my hand. Right here I have a Galaxy S4 that I have in my hand as well, so that's what that looks like. And then also the Moto X, which is smaller than the other two. So just to give you a little size comparison, here is all three devices put side by side. Note 3, S4, Moto X. Just to give you a little idea, so it is of course larger than the two. It is a personal preference if you do like this bigger screen or not. Now when it comes to specs, this has a 2.3 GHz Snapdragon 800 quad-core processor. There's also an octa-core processor variant as well, which would be the international variant. And inside it has 3 GB of RAM. That being said, it handles multitasking so well. Just going through apps, popping through apps, using multi-window, which I'll get to later on, but going through, just kind of popping through these apps with them running and open, they open and close so quickly. You really very rarely get any lag. Honestly, pretty much never any lag when doing anything like this. So opening up Google Now, which I don't even think I had open, you'll see it flips open these cards real quick. I am, of course, on Wi-Fi, which using my Asus router, which I do have a review on if you want to check that out. But anyways, that's a couple of the internal specs I want to talk about. Also want to talk about the screen, more in depth, of course. A 5.7-inch display, 1080p Full HD, Super AMOLED display. This screen is fantastic. I am not going to lie to you guys, the screen is great. Now I want to go ahead and talk about the screen a little more. It is a 5.7-inch display. It's 1080p Full HD. It's also a Super AMOLED display. Now in regards to the display, it is fantastic. One of the best on any Android phone out now, especially with that 1080p display, upgrading from the previous 720p on the Note 2, of course. So I wanted to talk about that. Watching videos, playing games, everything is fantastic. I can actually open up a quick Planet Earth video that I always like to show on these videos just for good measure so you can see how amazing it is. I'm going to turn the sound off so you guys don't have the sound, but showing this in HD, of course it is streaming on Wi-Fi, but want to give you an idea of how it's going to look. I guess it's too dark of a image, so here we go. So here's lighter images, but as I said, watching any film on here, whether it's a movie, whether it's a YouTube video, anything with great colors, being very subpar, so you're going to have to use headphones, you're going to have to use, oh my gosh, this is just amazing watching a video on this display. Now one minor problem with the screen is that with it being so big, it's very difficult to use one-handed. I do find that when you use your phone for very simple tasks, such as sending a quick text message, sending a quick email, it's kind of cumbersome to use because usually you'll have to use two hands. Of course, most of you do know I do have a flag grip that I use on my device right here. It's great to use. It does not stick to the back. I'll talk about that hopefully in a future video if you guys want to see it. But usually I have a case on my device as well, which doesn't make it, this case actually came with the flag grip, it doesn't make it that cumbersome. So generally when I'm using my phone, I do have my flag grip in my hand, of course. So putting that amazing screen aside, I wanted to just go ahead and talk about the camera. So going in, it does, as I said, have a 13 megapixel camera on the back, a 2 megapixel camera on the front, not a 12 megapixel. But anyways, taking pictures, there's very low shutter lag. You basically have none. I take a lot of pictures because I travel quite a bit, so I do like to take pictures. Want to make a quick note that normally by default when you take a picture, the image stabilization is on by default. Turn that off and then you won't get that processing. A lot of people did talk about that because it does turn on HDR, so you'll see when I take a picture it does say processing. Some people didn't know how to turn that off. That is how you just turn off that image stabilization right there and you won't get processing. You can just go ahead and snap pictures. You can also go ahead and take up to 20 pictures by holding the camera button, so you'll see it'll go run through and take pictures. It'll obviously have to process all of those pictures, but you can go through the 20 pictures that you took. You'll see it's blurry because you're not really supposed to move it when you're taking that, and you'll see that it takes 20 pictures at once. You can find the best one. It's good when you have group pictures. You can just hold it down and eventually one of those is most likely going to be good, but overall the camera software is great. So I just took a few pictures. Inside, taking pictures is great. It works very well. Outside, when it messes with the picture, when it processes the image, it does make a little bit of changes to make it very sharp, which some people like, some people don't. I personally don't really like it, but it is still great. Don't get me wrong, it's just a little minor thing that's not really that big of a deal. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's really a fantastic camera at 13 megapixels. One of the best on the market. Honestly, it could be considered better than the S4s. Very similar cameras, I might add, just a little bit different the way it processes the image. Now, another main thing I want to talk about is battery life. Real quick, it does have a 3200 milliamp hour battery, which is a very large battery, which goes a very large device. You kind of expect that. I can go ahead and show you my battery stats at the moment. I haven't used my phone too much today. I do charge it when I'm in the car. Right now it's at 52%. It's been at 7 hours. Screen on time is almost 3 hours. So you'll see battery life is great. I have switched on and off between LTE and Wi-Fi to kind of give you an idea of that. But I do some gaming, you'll see. So overall, it'll last me all day, which is great. What you expect out of a phone's battery. It's not as good as the Note 2, but it is still fantastic. So I would still say the Note 2 probably has the best battery life out of any phone. The Note 3 probably comes in a very close second. Now next I want to go ahead and talk about some gaming on the device. So I have Asphalt 7 loaded up, which is a game that I own. They do have Asphalt 8 now, but this is a pretty graphic intensive game. So I'm going to go ahead and load up a race. I haven't actually played this on this device yet. I've been playing FIFA quite a bit, which the graphics are great. I do want to make a note that all games that I've played on here, I've tried a lot of games. This just happens to be one that I haven't played yet, but all games have been very fluent. This phone can handle anything you throw at it. Honestly, that 2.3 gigahertz Snapdragon 800 just flies through all this. You got the 3 gigabytes of RAM as well, so gaming is fantastic. Whatever game you play, expect it to run smoothly without any lag. You'll see that I'm going to go ahead and skip through quite a bit. Alright, so I'm starting to speed up and catch up to people so you can kind of see how it looks. It's hard to see through this screen, but it looks like I'm trying to stay on, but I'm crashing a bit. But you'll see graphic wise it handles it very smooth. Anything, I crashed and it did just fine. I've seen absolutely no issues on this phone when it comes to gaming. So again, to reiterate, with this amazing screen as well, you get great pictures, great quality images. You'll see I'm just purposely doing this, but I have no issues at all running games, multitasking while running games. It is just great. So again, multimedia on this device, fantastic. Videos, gaming, all that good stuff is just fantastic to use this device. Now next I want to go ahead and talk about a little bit of web browsing. Nothing too in-depth, just going to some web pages. You'll see here's the stock browser, of course. You can open up a new tab if I wanted to. Let's go ahead and run to my website. So let's go to QBKing77.com and hit go. I'm going to pull out the S Pen. I'll get to that in just a second with some more software features, but anyways, on my website, run through if I want to open up, let's say, a web page. You'll see the stock browser handles web pages great. You don't get any checkerboarding, nothing like that. It's very fluent, very smooth. I use Chrome and it's the same thing. No issues at all with web browsing, so I really don't want to cover it in depth because web browsing is pretty standard and works as it should. Now moving along, wanted to talk more about the S Pen. Haven't really covered it at all yet in this video, but it is great. Honestly, it's very accurate. It does what it's supposed to. As you saw a little earlier on, when you do pull it out of the device, it pops open some options that you have. It's called Air Command. You have Action Memo, Scrapbooker, ScreenWrite, S-Finder, and Pen Window. So there's a lot of different options for you. If for any reason you want to bring that up on another screen, you can just hover your pen right over the screen, press the button on the S Pen, and it comes right up. So, for example, Action Memo is just to type a quick note. It brings something up. You can draw whatever you want, hit check, and it saves it. Goes away, saves it. So it's very quick when you're trying to write yourself a quick note or a reminder. I do it a lot. You can also go ahead and do Scrapbooker, which you draw an area with the pen to collect it in the scrapbook. You can kind of use different content like YouTube videos, all that good stuff, and keep it on your device. So it's going to save what you have just highlighted, and you can save that to your scrapbook. So it's great when you're trying to share certain videos or news articles to people. It'll go ahead and collect whatever is highlighted. Next, you have, let's go ahead and talk about S-Finder. I skipped one, but S-Finder is up next. You can search for content on the device. I essentially never use this. This is one that I really don't use. If I'm going to search for something, I'm just going to use Google or Google Now. That's just a personal opinion. It works pretty well. Next, I am going to go to Screen Write. It takes a screenshot of whatever is on the screen at the moment, and then you're able to draw on it. So if you wanted to make a note, let's say install, let someone know they need to install this app, hit check, it saves it, or you can hit the share button right away and share it. So it's very quick, very easy. Once again, last but not least, is pen window, which is my favorite one, to be honest. So pen window, you just go ahead and draw a circle, square, whatever you want on the screen, and it brings up a list of applications that you can open. So opening up, let's say, for example, the calculator is going to open up the calculator. You'll see it is in a modified box, though. You'll notice that it looks kind of goofy, but you can also actually change. Sorry about that. You'll see it is a little difficult to get used to with the S Pen, but I don't know why. There we go. So opening the calculator back up, it's going to work great. Times 85, in case you were wondering, it's that much. So you'll see it's a very small window. You can do this with other apps running. So if I wanted to go ahead and open up the dialer, you'll see it just goes right over the dialer. You can move the screen around, you can expand it, you can minimize it. Minimizing it puts it in sort of a Facebook chat head kind of application, which I think is great. Honestly, this is a pretty revolutionary. I think with the chat head, it makes it more like Windows desktop. Is kind of what you're going towards with many open applications. You can open them up. They're very small. You can minimize, maximize the window. You can make it smaller, bigger. You'll see, expand it, and it works great. Again, with this amazing processor, you don't get any lag when trying to multitask with these applications. So go ahead and go home. You'll see pressing the home button minimizes that as well, or you can just press the X and it'll close right out of it. Otherwise, in regards to the S Pen, it's nice. A little feature you can do is you can hover over and press this little icon, and you can write on your device to write a message. So if I wanted to say, hey, how are you? With a question mark. It translates it to, hey, how are you? And it did it perfectly. With my terrible handwriting, too. I am great. Period. And it, again, translates it. Once you hit done, it converts it into text, and you're ready to go. You can send that message. So you don't have to always type up with your fingers or swipe with your S Pen. You can just go ahead and write things out if that's what you prefer. It's just another nice feature of the S Pen, and it works great. It can really, even if your handwriting is pretty sloppy, mine is pretty sloppy, it does a good job at knowing what you're trying to write. So that's about all I wanted to cover with the S Pen. I don't use it too often, but when I use it, it is very useful and comes in handy. So it's a great feature to the device, especially with the big screen, the phablet style phone. It definitely adds to the functionality of the device. Now finally, I want to talk about software on the device. Of course, it is running Android, specifically Android 4.3, the latest Android software at the moment of this video. 4.4 should be coming out very soon as well. But anyways, it is running Samsung's TouchWiz skin, of course. So it is not a vanilla Android experience. You do have a lot of TouchWiz added. There are many, many features that are included with this device. Now, right away, I just want to talk about the lock screen really quickly. Also want to talk about, you could kind of see it there. Sometimes when you press the power button, you get a little lag in response from the device, which I don't quite understand. You'll see it did it again there. I don't know exactly why it does that. Samsung needs to look at that because it actually did it on the Note 2 as well. It can be quite annoying. You do get used to it after a while, but it should not be happening. It does happen. You'll see right there it happened as well. I do know it happens on the Verizon variant. This is the Sprint variant. I know it happens on the Verizon variant as well. I had people complaining to me about it, but that's just a little side note. I don't know why it happens, but anyways, lock screen, with the 4.3 lock screen, you can swipe to the right and you have a quick access to the camera. Back to the lock screen, you can swipe to the left, and you have certain widgets you can have on your lock screen. So I have Google Now there. You can add calendar, clock, email, Gmail, messages, watch on, which is your remote, so you can control your TV without even unlocking your device. So you'll see there's a lot of widgets that you can add, which is a nice feature of Android 4.3. Otherwise, unlocking the device, you have all these Samsung widgets, all these Samsung apps right in here in this folder. You'll see when you're in your app drawer, you can create folders within the app drawer, which is a newer feature that's included with 4.3. going through some of the Samsung apps, you have S Translator, which is nice, S Health, S Voice, which is, in my opinion, pretty useless. I just use Google Now. I don't even use S Voice. They should just focus on something else as opposed to S Voice, although they're trying to compete with Siri, so I guess I understand it. Knox Security, something to add added security to your device. Is something, actually there's a trigger if you're trying to root your device that Samsung has a one-time trigger that you can void your warranty. So if you do root your device, that's kind of a downside, is that it triggers that. There are going to be ways around it, hopefully very soon, so just kind of stay tuned for that. So yeah, overall, app-wise, there's so much included that it can just be overwhelming at times. With Story Album, Scrapbook, two things that I really don't use. They're pretty neat, but they're just too much, honestly, in my opinion. So, but also there's just features that are nice, but I don't use as well. So if I go into settings and go into device settings, and let's say, for example, let's talk about the notification panel. So you pull it down, you'll see there's a list of apps. You can also, with 4.3, use two fingers, pull it down, and you have a bunch of these toggles, which is great. That's one feature about TouchWiz that I love, that you have these quick toggles right when you pull down the notification bar. Now, if I want to go ahead and talk about some controls, there is one-handed operation to make it easier for using with one hand. There's a keyboard you can change, the calculator, unlock pattern as well. Just things you can do to help improve the one-handed use on the device. Otherwise, going back, scrolling down, there are all of these features: air gesture, air view, air command, motions. These are all TouchWiz included features. They do not come with stock Android. So air gesture, you can control things. It senses it. Let's say you're in your gallery, you can swipe through and notice that the images will move. You can scroll through. Air view, you can hover your pen over and it'll give you more information about what you're trying to open or read. Air command is, of course, with your S Pen, which I fully covered there. Motions, this is another thing. Direct call, you can call contact currently displayed on the screen. If you're in a text message, put it up to your face. It will call that person. Smart alert, if you move the phone when it's idle and you have current notifications you haven't looked at, it'll quick vibrate. You can zoom in and out of the screen by tilting your device. You can pan in and out. As I said, turning over your device, mute and pause, something I don't use, so I'm going to turn that off. Going through, again, you have palm motion, which I have off at the moment. You can take a screenshot by going like this. You can also take a screenshot by pressing and holding the home button and the power button at the same time, in case you were wondering. So you'll see I just took a quick screenshot. It brings up an editing screen. I'm going to discard that, of course. There's also air gestures, quick glance, air jump, air browse, air call accept. All of these things you'll see I have off. I don't use them. Some people might. A lot of them don't work how you expect them to, which is a little unfortunate, especially with Smart Screen. Smart Stay is pretty useful. It'll detect when your eyes are looking at the screen and not turn the screen off. Smart Rotation, I don't use. It works okay. Smart Pause is pretty pointless in my opinion. Smart Scroll as well does not work very well. It's a great concept. It'll move the screen based on where your eyes are looking, but it doesn't work how it really should, so I don't use it as well. So again, those are all those TouchWiz features that I don't use. There's so many of them, but there are some that I love, such as multi-window, which I'll get in just a second, that kind of keeps me on TouchWiz. So it's kind of give and take with TouchWiz. There's some things that you don't like, there's some things that you like. Now, real quick, there's also a My Magazine feature. You can swipe up from the bottom of the TouchWiz launcher and it should open up. You'll see it's just a quick magazine, such as Flipboard, that opens up. Also, when you're on the home screen and you press the home button, it'll open it on up. You can quickly disable that by going into settings and just hit open using the home key. You can uncheck that. So if you don't like it on there, you can just uncheck that and it won't open up anymore. Now finally, as I mentioned, I want to talk about multi-window. So you can press and hold the back arrow and it'll open up this list of apps over on the side that you can open up. So let's say I want to go ahead and open up my browser once more. It'll just open up fully because I didn't have another app open. But let's say, for example, I wanted to open up S-Note on the bottom. There we go. So now, apparently I didn't open up S-Note before, so let's go ahead and go to a different app. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and open up YouTube. Why not? So we have a YouTube app open at the bottom, and we have the browser open up at the top. You can actually use this and kind of put it the bar in a different spot. So if you want one larger than the other, you can quickly tap on it, and it gives you a bunch of options. You can flip-flop the apps, which works. You'll see it is quick. It works like instantly. So you also have this. You can drag and drop a paragraph of text or a screenshot of an image into another window. So that's another option that you do have, which I really don't use. You can also close out of them. So also on the left side here, you'll see it'll run through a list of apps that you can go through. So you can, let's say YouTube's open down at the bottom. We can open up email down there. Let's go ahead and open up something else. Let's go ahead and open up the gallery down at the bottom. I'm going to minimize the keyboard, sorry about that. So now that I have 3 apps open, I'm going to go ahead and go to this icon over here on the left, and you'll see it opens up all 3 of these app options here while multitasking. So if I want to go back to YouTube, tap on it, YouTube opens back up. You know what, never mind. I want to go back to my gallery, open that up. It goes right back to it. It is fantastic. I don't know, I mean, as of course you know, it has that quad-core processor that just handles this multi-window fantastically. So if you are someone that does a lot of multitasking, this is great. Especially if you watch a lot of YouTube videos, you'll see you can also add them up at the top as well. So you don't just have to have them down at the bottom. Let's go ahead and put my files up at the top. And let's go ahead and go here. So you'll see you got 2 running up here. Let's go down back to the bottom. You have 3 running down at the bottom. So I have 5 apps open in this multi-window right now that are continuously running. You'll see I am fluently going through them as well. You'll notice there is absolutely no lag whatsoever when switching between these, even though there's 5 of them open at once. Press and hold the home button. Let's say, you know what, never mind. I want to go into the camera application. And you know what, it pops open the camera application right away. Press the back button and it closes out of all of them. So you'll see multi-window is a fantastic feature of the device. It works well. Samsung's done a great job at making sure it does what it's supposed to. As I said, there's some features on the device that don't really do what they're supposed to, so I don't use them. But multi-window is one of them that just needs to be implemented in stock Android, to be honest. It really does. You also notice that when you have those 3 open, you can tap and it brings them previews of them open on the side. So you'll see with the browser, it brings open 2 tabs. With my files, it'll bring things open. You can open up another tab as well in that. With YouTube, open that up. You can open up another one as well. It's just crazy the amount of things you can do with multi-window, and it works very well. So in conclusion, I just wanted to give some final thoughts on the Samsung Galaxy Note 3. To be honest, it is a great device spec-wise. It is fantastic. You can't get a much better Android device spec-wise on the market right now. Screen is great. The 5.7-inch screen is a little bit large. It does take a little while to get used to, so don't hate it right away if you're just in the store using it. It does take a while to get used to the bigger screen. If you are someone that watches a lot of movies, plays a lot of games, the bigger screen is definitely the way to go. If you only do minimal basic tasks, just pulling out your phone, sending a quick email, sending a quick text, it can be a little cumbersome being that big, again, but you do get used to it. Again, the battery life is great, so that is another huge plus of the device. If the battery life on the phone is not good, I can't really even use it because I'm a pretty heavy user on my device, so I need to make sure that I always have a charge on my device. So overall, this device is great. I do highly recommend it if you can use the big screen. Honestly, if you don't like the big screen, don't get the phone. If you can't handle it, usually girls are, their hands are much smaller than guys, just obviously, but girls can usually say, oh, that's way too big, and it's understandable. The screen is huge. Some girls like it, some girls don't, some guys like it, some guys don't. So again, it's just something that you have to get used to, and you have to get over TouchWiz. If you like multi-window, I'd say go for it, because multi-window makes TouchWiz a huge selling point. Honestly, one reason that I like TouchWiz over stock Android is because of multi-window. But again, a great device, a huge powerhouse with the processor and the 3 gigs of RAM, so it runs things very smoothly. You get very minimal lag. A great device. Honestly, you'll have to let me know what you think, though. Be sure to leave a comment. Hopefully you guys liked the review video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. That would be great. I'd really appreciate it. You can also subscribe to me. I'll be doing many more videos, of course, so click that subscribe button. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+. All links will be in the description of the video below. And as always, thanks for watching.